Hey guys, let's do this. This is part 4, I believe, or 5, or something. Anyway, coolant systems and power systems today. Let's get to it. So we'll be using a box coolant. So I think what I'll do is so you see I'm using the quick coolant systems. Nothing fancy, just you know, the one used to get infinite coolant. Okay, that's done. Now for the power systems. It's also pretty simple. It'll need some tuning. Hold on a second. I installed these lights. I built these separately from the submarine and then put them in basically. The default, they spin in and it looks like a solid piece of wall, and then you activate them and they spin out and lights will flit out of the sides of the boat. It's pretty neat. And they fit pretty nicely. So I just need to install a little bit of logic for those. Right now is a good time for me to advertise my basic micrologic starter pack. I have it on the workshop. I'll be using pieces from that in this build. The basic engine stuff is not part of that. It's just basic engine stuff. I feel like everyone should know how to do that. But one of them that I use every day in every build is called door. I've always called it that because it's what it was called when I first discovered this controller. But really, it's a compact numerical switch box. What I like to do in my submarines is there's two ways to go about your logic. It's really important what you choose. See, one of them is you can line the walls here, and it's very space efficient. But if a megalodon attacks, then you're going to lose a lot of your logic. The other, because you don't bump into things at the back of your boat much, so you're pretty much good with it back here. But the other is to put it in the middle, have a chassis that sits in the middle of your submarine that holds your logic. So I'm kind of deciding right now I might move this controller over to a center chassis, because I haven't done that before. Most of mine have always been lining the walls. I think I'll do that now, because it'd be safer. Hold on, so the idea is you go along the wall edges of it here, creating slits in it that you can put the logic in, so it kind of hovers. And when you do this, you don't have much room, so you'll need to conserve a lot of it by trying to avoid using basic logic. You want to make everything microcontroller or compacted down as far as you can get it. So two systems that interact, build them together in a controller so that you don't have to take up so much space. So if we can avoid it, we don't want them to you don't want them to fill up this whole slot. Okay, so you see now none of it's touching the walls. That would be important for protecting from damage. It'll all be kept in this chassis, which will do it pretty good to keep your submarine alive and running even when it's been damaged. Now, some people don't want that. Some people want their submarines to take damage and have certain systems start to die out because, I don't know, it's just how they think it should be. This submarine, I'll be doing a mostly invincible submarine design because this submarine has challenges enough on its own. Like, it's not like you're struggling to find ways to sink this thing. It's going to have its own issues like air, conservation, exhaust. You have to constantly be monitoring it regardless of the megalodons around you. And so I feel like with all of our efforts to simplify the build, to make it better, and we do a lot of other things to try to make this design that shouldn't really exist possible. I wouldn't want to compromise its capabilities by purposefully harming its stuff just to make it more sinkable, even though we spent so long making it not sinkable. So anyway, as I was saying earlier, I've got a controller called door. It's a compact numerical switch box, and this thing helps me a ton. Place down two of them, one for each. Actually, we only need one. The lights will go at the same time. So off value is -1, on value is 1. The input would be to turn on the lights, and then this will go to these pivots, and then I'm going to grab another little piece of micro logic. It's called open. This little controller here, I made this. I mean, I made the door. I just didn't. I wasn't the first to think of that. But this one I've not seen in any other builds. Basically, well, I've seen it in some builds recently, but I came up with this one on my own. This is just open. It's just an empty controller that does nothing but connects the input to the output to condense things. I'm sure someone else has done it. I don't take full credit for it or anything. I'm just saying a lot of people don't do it, and it's a really useful controller. Because now, whenever I am ready to hook up my light systems, rather than having to go to each light and try to remember where they all are, I just go to the open that hooks up to the lights and input it there. This turns both pivots and turns on the lights. Like this will be my engine on, and then I'll hook this to some. This will be part of another open circuit eventually that hooks to the dive pumps. You see, we've got a shit ton now to deal with. I'm not doing all the logic in this video. I'm just doing the basic kind of stuff with the engine running, and maybe a little more. Let's see what we need. Thing we should talk about is what we're gonna do at our nose. I think we're gonna leave it blocked in. I have some that don't do that. I have some submarines that have a window at the nose. It doesn't do much good, to be honest, so I'm probably not gonna do it in this video. The limitation we've given ourselves is by putting these here, we can't have screens, really big screens in the hallways. So I really wanted to put a fish tank there, but you know what? I think I'll do one here. My last submarine didn't have a fish tank, and that kind of bothered me. So we'll go ahead and grab the logic for that. To make it a fish tank, that is. This is another one of my controllers, which I will be advertising. Again, this thing is just a standard fish tank. You just plug it in, it's on the workshop. If you want any of the things you're seeing in this video, by the way, to go to the workshop, I am just Straight of Fire on the workshop. Just look me up, or look up some of my creations like the LBNS. I'll post my creation links. That's how you can find my account and look at my workshop submissions, and you'll be able to see all of these things that you're seeing in this video. Because I won't be using any workshop controllers, anything that I can't 100% explain how it works. See, I can even go hop into the open. You know, the open, it just does that. But the door, it just does that. These are really basic things. And you saw the basic engine stuff. The fish tank is a little complicated, so maybe we'll leave that alone. Yeah, that was a fun build, but it's pretty much a plug-and-play system. Hook up the video, hook up the composite, the fish tank's ready to go. You know? No hassle, no worry, no doing anything. It's all touchscreen controlled. I mean, it's a fish tank. Yeah. So now, our main console is going to control the submarine. There's a good few ways to do this, and some people have differing opinions. Some people like the idea of the dome front submarine with windows. That there's like a center console sitting in, and you can look all around you. And that's cool and all, but that's probably not what we're doing for this build. I'm kind of towards the side of doing something like I did with my last submarine. Cause see, we don't have the right kind of window shapes to do a dome front properly, and a semi-dome front doesn't look good, especially with this submarine hull, with all the work we've put into making it look like it does. So really what we do, now the last submarine I had didn't have so many exterior cameras and had more information screens. I still have probably the same amount of info screens, but I'll have more exterior cams. It'll basically be a screen dome. I don't think it will be full glass, because that was a little bit overkill, but it'll be mostly glass cockpit. And it will be centered in this room, because it is the main thing happening. And it will be complicated to drive this submarine like it was the LBNS Explorer. But it's part of it being fun and challenging. The whole build, driving, building, creating, it's fun and challenging. But in the end, it's just a very impressive build once you've got it down. So, locating our space, we need to consider what we're going to have here. The last one I did, I had the medical beds and the crew quarters up here in the nose, because we definitely need something up here. But I don't think I want that there this time. I'm trying to decide particularly what. Because if I put it back here, so let's see, so we definitely need medical beds, because submarines aren't like perfect little safe havens, and people get damaged a lot in these. And so you want to have accommodations to heal them up when they do. Let's see if I move that. Hopefully it doesn't break the seal. Yeah, I can just pop that right in there. And then medical bed, and then we'll have a standard bed on the other side. So now we've taken up some pretty optimal space here near the back. We might even wall these in and make them little cabins. Yeah, I think I will. Because it'll give it more of a spacious feel if there's a few separated rooms rather than one open cockpit. So let's do this. So to build in a wall, we'll just need to clear out everything like that. And then build in. You notice we've got to be very careful right here, because this is the rotating light location. And it's very finicky sometimes. So I've got to be very touchy with how I install that. Basically, we'll go out to about the middle. Oh, I haven't been symmetry. Dang it. So again, at the base of the bed. That. Like that. Cut back this wall like that. Because I still want there to be a pretty good breathing room, you know, like an open experience. And see here, we've got this spot perfect here for a light and some other things. I would put a heater there because it seems like it would be perfect, but it really wouldn't be. So the heaters will probably just be in the hall. Because we'll need probably a speaker for intercom, a light, and some other things to go in this room. Because I want these to be like little sleeper cabins. Like you could have 3 people on the boat and 2 sleeping, 1 drives, and they could switch on your journey. Because this is an exploration submarine. So like traveling long distances, this is not for militaristic use. It won't have missiles, probably, because it's not equipped. It was never part of the deal with this submarine, as it never had missiles. The only kind of missiles it may ever have are mounted on maybe the top deck here, and that would be only for like fun, screwing around in the server. So now we've got to decide what kind of door is going to fit on here. What I think I'll do is a hanging door that rolls back into this hallway, because you see we've still got 3 here. This is the minimum hallway space. These are extra room, and this is room that we'll be utilizing for the doors. People will just walk past them. They'll be out here in the hallway. So right here in this roof panel, we're going to draw back if we can. Yes, we can. Draw back like that, and we'll get a linear slider track. I think I want it, when it's on, it'll be opening. Oop, a little farther. Okay, put that there, and also we need a speaker. Even though you don't really need a speaker, I like the idea of it. And we might even put some like things in here. And I'll leave the last slot empty because I'm sure we'll think of it. Actually, I don't know. I think we might use it for a player sensor because I don't know if that's useful whatsoever. So now we will bring this. Actually, I just hold on. I don't know what I really want to do here, but I do know this top row of this door does have to be blocks, so we will follow that in. But after that, we can kind of go wherever we want. I want it to be slightly skinny, and I want those doors to match the hall. So when they roll back, of course they're going to cover the fish tank, but it's not critical hardware or anything we really need, and so I'm not super worried. But you know what we should do? I know these are sleeper quarters, but I don't think we should at least install like a small window that sits like back in the door, like here at the top. And then we go across here, and then we go to, let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So here we need to come down 2 more blocks before we can start curving it in. Here, so right in here now, we're gonna go in with a 1x4 wedge, I think. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. So now we've got some room here for more console things here. On the door, we've got all sorts of stuff. So these are probably going to be our cabins for sleeping. And now the rest of this room is probably going to be controls, except for the very nose. So the belly of this is the control room, and then the nose, and there's not really anything else. So now that we've already got our beds down, up here in the nose, we need to figure out what's going to go here. This is the trickiest place because you can't stand here. This could be cargo, but we don't have a cargo dock or anything to take in cargo, so there's not really a reason to have that. Also, I want to get rid of this ladder because they look cool and they're realistic to real life, but they're not good by any means. For real submarining and stormworks, ladders are awful. In most submarine survival scenarios, you're going to find yourself rolled over, upside down, or in a certain situation, even when you're right side up, you cannot seem to just get over that ladder. And it's really annoying. So, that's something I want to work out right now. So, the minimum gap you can sit in is 3 blocks. So we'll do this, right? We'll do like that. Get some wedges. Do like this. You'll see where I'm still improvising this, but I've got a bit of an idea of what I want. Okay, so like this, and then that, and then something like, I want it to be like a thing where you can jump up and kind of crawl up little stairs. 'Cause it'll be more Stormworks friendly to do it like that. And it's darn unique if you ask me. Okay, so then we'll have to do a lot of testing with this. This is just the first version of what we've got here. So a jump needs to be made from here to there. I think we can do like that. Yeah, like that, and then we've still got a long ways to go. So it's supposed to mean like you'd crouch. It's a crouch jumps all the way up and then out the top. And so you've got your different platforms to get up and down, because getting up and down fast is a critical part of driving and operating a submarine for long periods of time. Because you want every single system to be 100% reliable, and getting stuck down the ladder during a situation where you need to get in or out fast is not an option for a functioning submarine. It works well. Now here I think I'll go to stairs. I had to use the wedges there because they're actually a little bit better, but now we can go to something that looks a little bit more professional. Like some good old stairs. We'll go like get our top step. So there we go, there's our stairs. Now you notice we've got a lot of unused space in it. In a submarine like this, all space must be used. And so we will find a use for that. We've definitely got some good usable space down here. We might even use it for parts of the engine, can run them through here and subtract this from our living quarters area by wedging it in. Because you can't even fit through here unless you're standing, and then there's no reason to be back there. Unless we made like a little cabin back there, but we couldn't really. So I think I'm gonna wedge it in. This will be like the entrance to the submarine. As you come in over this stairs. About now is a good time to start thinking of the name. And I have no idea what it's going to be named, but I'm just talking about it. Like, when you're in the details of you're beginning to do the design work of the submarine, you need to be considering what you're naming it. Also, we've added some more logic. We need 2 more doors. Linear sliders, I imagine most of you know this, they work on 1 to -1. -1 means they're moving back, +1 means they're moving forward. So we will need 2 of these. They're already set to the right values, again. So this one, this and this one, and let me go get some buttons here. We'll need some buttons on the doors, 2-sided probably. They need to be pretty high up so that the bed doesn't collide with them. I think these should be pushed for now until we decide we need something different. So now we'll hook these up. So shoot, I'm gonna guess. I think this one. I was wrong. Okay, we got that right. Now we need to name these. Too many caps. Door. So now, something to pay attention to. See this? We're gonna click on this. We don't want to burn power that we don't need to be burning. We want these to move pretty quick. We want to just slip along, but without. If they were to collide with something, I don't want them to roll the whole ship back, trying to exert power on something like that, exerting so much force they can roll the boat back. So that's why I'm limiting their max power, so they're a little bit less harmful if they do get bugged out. Not to say they would, but they are a large part of the boat, so it could happen. Just like with these little quick roll lights, this pivot's been reduced down to 15% power, full speed, and only a 1-to-1, because we don't want them powerful. About now, now that we have our control region located, let's go ahead and actually, you know what? We've done a lot today. We'll get to this in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this is an interesting series for you to watch, and hopefully I'm helping with your creations in the future. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.